Coming up, a look at legislation some say would weaken safety protection for coal miners.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A representative from Estill County has sponsored a bill that would decrease the number of mine emergency technicians required to be on a shift. WYMT's Madison Carmouche spoke to a retired Mine Safety and Health Administration official about his concerns about it.
House Bill 85 would allow for coal operations to continue with just one mine emergency technician, or MET, in mines with crews of less than 10. The bill was sponsored by two Eastern Kentucky representatives, Bill Wesley and John Blanton, with the goal of keeping miners working and paid.
That's not a good idea. Anytime you put coal miner safety ahead of production, you're just endangering those people that are working there for you, and those are the people that are making you money.
The law went into effect in 2007 as a way to increase safety in the mines.
You just don't need to go backwards when you've had a bill working for 16 years just because a few coal operators decide it might hurt their production.
Roger Wilhoit is a retired federal coal mine inspector and says that miners deserve the sense of security that METs provide.
There's a lot of coal miner that has a long career that don't have some kind of injury during their career. I've had severe injuries underground. To know that those people got to me fast, got me out of the mines, got me in an ambulance, got me to a hospital.
Wilhoit adds that as the coal industry changes, the safety and sacrifices of miners past, present, and future need to remain at the forefront.
A lot of coal miners were killed in this mine. The laws that were changed and the safety regulations that were upgraded and so forth, all those years were built and changed on the blood of those miners that gave their lives.
In Harlan County, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
House Bill 85 passed in the House 75-18 on Monday and now awaits approval in the Senate. A new spending plan for the state of Kentucky is moving through the legislature again. A budget that includes increases to classrooms but no mandated teacher raises was debated in both the Senate committee this morning and on the full Senate floor late this afternoon. The legislation had already cleared the state House. The General Assembly only has 8 more working days during the next 5 weeks to finish their work for this year's session.
We are tracking some more mild weather as we go into this evening. Most of us right now in the 50s and a few 60s at this hour, sitting at 64 in Pikeville, 65 in Jackson, up to 57 for Somerset, 54 in Manchester, also in London. So some more mild weather is on tap to close out your Wednesday. Up on the radar, we are dry, also mainly clear, all thanks to high pressure, and that will also continue as we go into tonight. We are tracking some more dry weather and those lows as you wake up on Thursday in the upper 40s to lower 50s. And tomorrow is Thursday, March 14th. That means tomorrow is Pi Day. No, not the pie you eat, the mathematical number pi, 3.14. It's going to be a toasty one across the mountains. High temperatures top out in the upper 70s to lower 80s. And most of us are dry for most of your Thursday. A small chance of a passing shower, but higher rain chances are on the way by late tomorrow, also by Friday. And then we turn much cooler by Monday and Tuesday of next week. All those details plus your full 7-day forecast on the way in just a little bit. Steve?
Pi Day forecast, something I had not thought of. Thank you very much, Cameron. One man is dead after a crash on Interstate 75 in Whitley County. It happened a little before 7 this morning at the 15-mile marker southbound. State police say 66-year-old William Hoskins of London lost control of his vehicle, left the roadway, and hit a rock wall. Hoskins was taken to Baptist Regional Hospital in Corbin, where he died. We now know the name of the person accused of leading police on a chase down I-75. According to the Laurel County Sheriff's Office, the chase started on the interstate near the Richmond exit and ended around mile marker 41 in London. This is some viewer video of that chase. 42-year-old Samuel Young of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, was taken into custody. Young is charged with fleeing police, wanton endangerment, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, and numerous other traffic violations. The body of a missing East Tennessee man was found today in Knox County. 86-year-old Curtis Mason of Harrogate was last seen on February 26th. Officials say he was found in the Goldens Creek area of Knox County after people said they had seen his van. No foul play is suspected. Many are remembering an Eastern Kentucky firefighter killed in a crash in the line of duty. It happened around 5 yesterday in Elliott County. State police say firefighter Frank Witt was working with the 504 Volunteer Fire Department. He was driving the fire truck when he lost control and went over an embankment. Troopers say another EMT, Drake Adams, died earlier that day in an unrelated incident. They say Witt was traveling to help escort him to the funeral home. A prayer vigil will be held tomorrow for a Powell County 1-year-old who died in a house fire. Kiki was injured in a fire Friday morning. Her dad ran in to get her. He received serious burns. We reported last night she died after being on life support. The vigil will be held at Clay City Park tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. The Pikeville Police Department hosted its first Coffee with a Cop today, inviting the community to sip and share. The event, hosted at Heavenly Donuts, invited community members to chat with some of the department's officers while sharing a breakfast of donuts and coffee. Police Chief Michael Riddle says the event was planned for today to honor fallen Pikeville police officer Scotty Hamilton, marking the 6th anniversary of his line of duty death.
Scotty wasn't just our loss, he was the community's loss, and he, say it all the time, but he'll truly never be forgotten.
The department also released balloons and handed out bracelets in memory of Hamilton before visiting his grave this afternoon. Feeding Kentucky hosted its annual Hunger Free Day at the state capitol today. Each year, the event is held to raise awareness about hunger across the state. During today's event, Governor Andy Beshear signed a proclamation declaring March 13th Hunger-Free Kentucky Day. This comes amid a fight in Frankfort over House Bill 367, which would put more restrictions on SNAP benefits. Appalachian Regional Healthcare invited the community to join them for a healthy sip this morning. Several providers were on hand at Hazard Coffee Company to provide a cup of free coffee and educate folks about the importance of colon screenings and more. March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
I would encourage anyone to reach out to their provider and have a conversation about if you should have a preventative screening. If you have a family history or if you're age 45 or older, you should definitely be getting a preventative colonoscopy screening, and those can be arranged through your local doctor's office.
ARH is also hiring, and they host a career fair each Friday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. in the Hazard ARH Medical Center lobby. Lawrence County Superintendent Robbie Fletcher says it is an honor to be considered with the other 2 finalists for Kentucky's next education commissioner. Fletcher released a statement today saying in part, quote, "If selected, I would approach the role of commissioner with the same all-in spirit that the students of Lawrence County have taught me in my role as superintendent." Fletcher says he's been blessed to serve students in several different counties in various capacities. You may know him as a UK basketball player or from his time in the NBA or perhaps from his fame on social media. But now he's an author, sharing his story of recovery and perseverance with the world. Bill Bryant talked to Rex Chapman about his new memoir.
For Rex Chapman, being in the spotlight wasn't a problem. He enjoyed it.
That really was a sanctuary for me. I loved playing for the University of Kentucky. I loved being on that court. I loved my teammates.
The Kentuckian from Owensboro made his mark on the University of Kentucky basketball team. While he was a star on the outside, he was dealing with his own problems on the inside.
Not addressing the issues that I had with depression and mental illness as a young person.
Not addressing his mental health problems, Rex turned to drugs, blowing away more money than most people see in their lifetime.
I probably had so many low points that I just covered up with, gambling and the opioids. OxyContin, opioids, painkillers it's a really slippery slope.
It wasn't until he hit rock bottom that he knew he needed to get help.
But being arrested. I shoplifted. That's really hard for me to wrap my head around. I have to blame the drugs.
Rex sought treatment, and with the support of his now ex-wife and friends, he's on the other side.
When you've shown yourself that you can run off, at least for me, I'm very cautious because I don't want to run off the rails again. And I have enough people in my life that keep an eye on me to help hold me accountable.
He's now sharing his story with the world in his new memoir, It's Hard for Me to Live with Me, a title he feels sums up how he feels.
Just a lot of guilt and shame over choices, decisions I made in life, over not standing up for myself more when I was younger.
The memoir is receiving positive feedback, and that's something Rex says he did not expect.
I assumed everyone would hate it and hate me for, some of the details.
The details of his story show there is light at the end of the tunnel.
That was Bill Bryant reporting. Chapman's book is available now online and in many local bookstores. The girls' Sweet 16 tipped off at Rupp Arena this morning, and for the first time in school history, Owsley County made it to the big dance, representing the 14th region. Owsley is the second least populated county in the state, and it looked like most of Boonville made the trip to Lexington.
The support from everybody. From the libraries to the small little convenience stores to privately owned has supported this team. Come on! Has stood up, backed them up, and it has been outstanding.
Well, unfortunately, the Owls fell in a nail-biter to Bowling Green by 2 points. We'll have more from that game and North Laurel's opening round contest, which was earlier this evening, coming up later in sports. But next on Mountain News at 11, an Eastern Kentucky speech and debate team is celebrating a state championship.
Plus, rain chances are set to return as we end the work week. Your forecast after this break.